Consistency is the #1 predictor of success in the gym. Working as a personal trainer over the past 2 years, what I've come to realize is that it doesn't matter how great of a workout program I can design for someone if they don't actually show up and put in the work. So in this video, what I hope to share with you is the 5 best tips that I have found in my personal training practice to help you stay consistent in reaching your fitness goals. After 6 to 8 weeks, we see a sharp dip in the consistency of people at the gym. Working as a personal trainer, I've had a ton of opportunity to sit in front of different people brainstorming their fitness goals. Every single person, when they first come into me, they tell me that their motivation is sky high, that they're 10 out of 10 committed to actually seeing through the results that they've laid out in front of me, but they don't actually do it. The vast majority of people that I see, unfortunately, they come into me, they say, Mitch, I'm super excited. I'm so dedicated to this. I've tried it a million times, but this time I'm actually going to see the results through. This time I'm actually going to be successful at achieving all of these different fitness goals. People don't lack motivation when they first come into the gym. What they lack is a plan of attack to stay consistent after that motivation wanes. It's incredibly easy to actually show up to the gym when you're feeling motivated to. It's when that motivation wanes that people start to fall off. And the issue with this is that motivation will always start to fall off. You will never be as motivated as you are on January 1st. Over the span of this video, I'm going to share with you 5 tips to actually help you stay consistent when your motivation starts to wane. The first tip that I'm going to give you is to schedule your workouts. The second tip that I'm going to give you is reduce the friction between you and working out. The third tip is to use an accountability partner. The fourth tip is to cast more votes. I'll tell you a little bit more about this when we get into the section. And the fifth is be kind to yourself. So the first and most impactful tip is to schedule in your workouts. The reason why scheduling your workouts is so impactful is because it reduces the requirement for willpower. Now, willpower is great when you're first starting out at the gym, but willpower will always reduce as you get further into your goal, the same way that motivation starts to dip. If you schedule into your calendar on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 o'clock, you're gonna hit full body workouts. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 o'clock roll around. You don't need to summon the willpower in order to actually get yourself to the gym. If you're gonna just say on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm gonna go to the gym and not set a time in stone, well, it's super easy to get caught up with your kids, caught up cooking dinner. There's a million different things competing for your attention at once, but once you put into your calendar at this specific time you're gonna go to the gym, well, then you're dedicated to it. It's written in stone. You will show up to the gym at that time. Now, another thing that I've noticed working in a gym environment for some time now is that, and by the way, this is my own personal anecdote, is that people who work out in the mornings tend to be more consistent than people who work out in the evenings. And I would assume that the reason for this is because there isn't any decision fatigue when you wake up in the morning. What decision fatigue is the more decisions you make throughout the day, the lesser the quality of your decisions. So after you've gone through work, after you've gone grocery shopping, taking care of the kids, you've done your homework or whatever you have lined up in your night, you just don't have the same energy to actually get yourself to the gym. You've made a ton of different decisions, and because of that, you're gonna start to make worse and worse decisions. When you wake up in the morning, you haven't made any decisions. You just show up, you get to the gym, you put in your workout, and then it's done. You're done for the day. Even if those workouts aren't, say, as energetic as working out after you've had a couple meals, the fact that you're staying consistent is going to make these workouts more effective in the long run. All right, the second tip that I have for you is to reduce the amount of friction between you and actually getting to the gym. Friction impacts every decision that we make. If it's super effortful for you to engage in a behavior, you're that much less likely to engage in that behavior. If you have a bowl of candy on your desk, you're gonna be eating a lot more of them than if that same bowl of candy was locked in your car or somewhere far away. Just the amount of friction there is gonna influence the amount that you actually engage in the behavior. And we can use this in reverse to promote the types of behavior that we want to start engaging in. One of the tips that I give my clients to help improve their adherence to getting in their self-directed workouts is to put your workout clothes on the passenger seat of your car. That means that when they actually get in their car and they're driving home from work, they don't need to go home and get changed and then drive all the way back to the gym. Their clothes are already there. The other reason why putting your gym gear in your car is such an effective tip is because by putting your clothes in your car, you've effectively opted into working out. If you've already committed to doing something, then opting out is that much more effortful. I think something that illustrates this very well is states that have opt-in organ donation versus opt-out organ donation. Some states, you have to actually select that you want to opt out of being an organ donor. The default is being an organ donor. In other states, an opt-in approach is used. So the default is not being an organ donor, and you actually have to opt in if you want to be an organ donor. And it's a pretty substantial decision whether or not to be an organ donor. But we find that actually having to opt in or opt out of something will profoundly impact the amount of people who are organ donors. So in the description box below, I've linked to a study that shows that opt-in states have an organ donation rate of about 15%. States that make you opt out of being an organ donor have organ donor rates of 90%. There's such a big difference between opting into something and opting out of something. By putting your clothes in your car, you've essentially made it an opt-out decision for yourself. The default is going to the gym. You're that much more likely to go to the gym if your default is going to the gym. The third tip that I have for you is use an accountability partner. The way that you can set this up is you go to your roommate, your best friend, your girlfriend, whatever, and you tell them that if I don't go to the gym 3 days a week, for every day that I miss, I'm gonna pay you $20 or provide them some sort of incentive. Your accountability partner is gonna be thrilled that you're offering them this opportunity. And hopefully, if they're in your corner, they're actually going to encourage you to show up to the gym on a more frequent basis. Having a little bit of skin in the game will be a strong motivator for you to actually show up to the gym on the days when you're feeling a little bit beat down or you're really having difficulty finding the motivation to work out. There's a different route that I personally take for accountability, and that is I use two different apps. I use an app called Beeminder and I use an app called Habitica. Habitica is an app that allows me to track all of my habits, and Beeminder is a different app that links to Habitica that will actually charge my credit card if I'm not staying consistent with my habits. The fourth tip that I have for you is to cast more votes. So there's a quote by James Clear that I've probably told 1 million people at this point, and that is, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. No single instance will transform your beliefs, but as the votes build up, so does the evidence of your new identity. Every time you walk into the gym, you're casting a vote for, I view myself as a fit and healthy person. Once you've cast enough of these votes, you'll start to embody the identity of somebody who is a fit and healthy person. But it's important that every time you walk into the gym that you realize this. You're doing things that fit and healthy people do, and this will help to shift your mind state and your perspective of yourself. The fifth and final tip that I have for you is to be kind to yourself. If you have a binge or if you do something counterproductive to your goals, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that you can't actually achieve all of your goals. Negative self-talk will also cast votes for the type of person that you believe that you are. If you're constantly telling yourself that you're a screw up, that you'll never actually make it, that you don't have the discipline or motivation to actually see your goals through, well, then you pretty much guarantee the fact that you won't. There's a phenomenal trainer called Jordan Syatt. I'll link to his Instagram in the description. I read an interview with Jordan and he said something that really strikes home. In the interview, Jordan said, you can't fail because the only way you screw up is if you quit. As long as you understand that you're never more than one bite away from getting back on track, you can't lose. You can't fail. And the more you remember this, the more likely you are to achieve your goals. I have never met somebody who has been dead on consistent with their habits for their entire life. If you set out some goals and you're falling short of those goals, keep in mind that it's never too late to pick it back up and try to actually achieve them again and again and again. Your screw-ups don't determine whether or not you're actually going to achieve your fitness goals. It is your tenacity and willingness to try again and again and again that will ultimately determine whether or not you are successful in the gym. Anyways, guys, I hope that you find these 5 tips helpful. If you do, be sure to leave me a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next video.